back here for Insights, and I'm out in Legacy Park, and yes, that is the New Zealand Temple. Probably about one of the closest we can get to it still not open. That's all good, not because of COVID, because it was getting fancied up and earthquake proof, and they've gutted the whole inside and made it prettier, hopefully. Well, it was already pretty, so pretty? Yeah, no. It was already really beautiful, but they've made it better. I don't know how you can improve on perfection, but they have. Anyway, it's good to be out here. Anyway, to be quiet, always good. If you can't go in, be close, right? Okay, so section 90 we're going to go to for this one. Section 90, verse 5. This is the calling officially of the two councillors to the first presidency. So now there is Joseph Smith, two councillors, first presidency, because I've already got a quorum of the 12, so this is now first presidency. And there's some really good stuff in here, really great. We're just going to look at verse 5, I think. Oh, and maybe, yeah, and some other ones, because there's some really good advice in there as well. Okay, so verse 5 says, "And all they who receive the oracles of God, let them beware how they hold them, lest they are accounted as a light thing, and are brought under condemnation thereby, and stumble and fall when the storms descend, and the winds blow, and the rains descend and beat upon their house." And if you look at the footnote in 5 for oracles, because you're like, well, who are the oracles? It leads you to Acts 7:38, and also the topical guide, the rejection of prophets. So the oracles are the prophets. And who are the prophets in our dispensation? Well, right now it's Russell M. Nelson and Dallin H. Oakes and Henry B. Eyring and all the quorum of the 12. They are prophets, seers, and revelators. So, how do you hold their words? Do you treasure them, or do you just put them off as a light thing? And then the warning comes there that you get brought under condemnation, because when they stumble and fall, when the storm and the wind and the rains descend upon your house, stumble and fall because you're not holding the words of the prophets as a treasure. So, get my book sorted here. How do you hold or treat the words of the prophets and our organisation leaders? Because the organisation leaders, like our young men's, young women's, Relief Society, primary presidencies, they're all set apart to kind of prophesy or oversee that area, and they're set aside with priesthood power. So it's absolutely the same thing. And it's also to remember that when they're speaking personally, that's them. When they speak at conference, they're speaking on behalf of the Lord, really. So how do you treasure that? Okay, so for me, I study one conference talk a week, and I search like conference talks. So I've got a question and I'm after an answer, or I just want more information, I'll search conference talks, especially those that are recent, because like the recent ones will apply more to what's happening like right now. So they're probably more likely to have answers, although others will have answers too, because we know, like even from reading scriptures, that they might have been hundreds, even thousands and thousands of years ago, can still have the answer for us today. So that's what I do there. So from the leaders' words I get that. Now, not all of them, because not all of them are meant for me, and not all of them are meant for this time. Some of them were meant for that time. But there's still some perspective we can gain around there. It's just how you do it. But I respect them all, and I hold them with reverence and gratitude that we have constant guidance from prophets, seers, and revelators, because it's pretty awesome that we have constant guidance, constantly. And that the Lord leads us through a living prophet. How awesome is that, right? And are you holding that? How are you holding that treasure of those words? Do you listen to them? Do you read them again? Do you deep dive into them? What are you doing? There's no wrong or right there. What are you doing? Are you doing something to really embrace these into your family, into your life? Try and think about that. Elder Uchtdorf, he said, the more we treasure the words of the prophets and apply them, the better we will recognize when we are drifting off course. And drifting off course can happen so easily and so incrementally small that by the time we're way off course, it's like, whoa, how did that happen? So the more we embrace and apply the words of the prophets, we'll recognize when we're starting to drift. And I certainly know that's true for me. Yeah. I don't know what more I can say about that one, but how do you hold that? Consider doing more to embrace conference talks, or like follow them on Instagram. Are you following, or Facebook? Do you follow them because they're there and they put out messages. Really good stuff, actually. Who was I reading today? Was talking. Oh, see, it's gone. But they're talking about there's now a mission in Ethiopia, and when they were first there was only like no members, and they just met in their house. It was one of them. I can't remember. No, it's gone. But anyway, are you following them? Do you read what they say? Some really good stuff. Elder Bednar did a really good Instagram post around there is no balance, talking about ebb and flow, and it really changed how I thought about stuff, because I'm always trying to balance things and make sure that it's balanced, and actually there is no balance because it changes all the time as to what your needs are. And his whole thing on that just really changed how I look at a lot of stuff and how I felt about a lot of things, and helped me in day-to-day life. So, you know, I hold that as a treasure, and I'm grateful to have it. So, I don't know, maybe whatever works for you, right? But just try something different. Okay, I'll leave that one there. Stay with us. We're going to head over to verses 28 to 33, because there's some really good advice in there on being a lively member, which will tie into the later ones. Okay, see you there.